Hello, and welcome back. It's been a while. I'm May Carey with Devil May Care, and this is going to be just a sociable sewing episode. I'm working on, one of a great many projects right now, and I figured I would take a moment to just say hi to you and see how everything's been going in the year it's been since I saw you last. Well, not to waste too much time just talking about foolishness, I want to start straight into this project. Now, let me show you. I don't know if you can see this very well at all, but what we have here is the base for a really amazing thing. Let me show you. Okay, this is the costume rendering for one of the characters in The Crow, the Skull Cowboy. And he's going to be so cool. But you see what he looks like there? And every good costume starts with a good idea. In this case, our idea is a rendering. And this is as far as I have gotten at this point. The first problem, this has already been fitted. This has been finished enough to fit onto the actor that's going to be playing the part, and that has been done. The problem that we have is that the front is very big. I don't really think there's another way to put it. It's just really full. And the biggest reason that is because it was made from a pattern that is meant to close properly. All coats are supposed to come together or overlap slightly so that they can button, zip, what have you, to close, because you want your jackets to actually close. That makes sense. But in the case of something like this, if you look, the front of this jacket is not closed. It's hanging open and showing an awful lot of what's going on underneath, but it is still very fitted and closely tailored. That's a common look in a lot of anime characters and DC characters and just all sorts of people wear awesome long coats, trench coats, cowboy slickers, just long coats, and they always fit so nice and close and slim and sleek, and yet they are open, exposing whatever's underneath, be it a proper suit, be it some kind of weird little strap that goes across somewhere and looks cool, what have you. And the reason that this is so hard to recreate on real people is because real people wear real coats, and real coats are made to close. And when you leave them just hanging open, all of that extra fabric that's meant to overlap hangs there all baggy and awkward looking. So, the way we're going to fix that, because this coat does it just like the rest, we're going to, okay, here's the coat. This is the front. Where is it? There. These are the fronts, the lapels that open up. So we're going to undo this side seam, both of them as a matter of fact, and then we are going to re-stitch them, pulling from the front to the side. So it's going to stay the same across the back, but the front is going to get shorter, if that makes any sense. So the first thing we have to do is turn it inside out and undo the stitching. That requires, where's my seam ripper? My trusty, wonderful seam ripper. And I've got to turn it all the way back around, because the easiest way to rip a seam is moving in a natural direction. So if you're right-handed, then you'll want to be wielding the seam ripper with your right hand or your strong hand, whichever one it is, and you'll be moving it in this kind of across yourself direction. So you want the seam to be open on the right side or your dominant hand side, and then rip it up moving across you. It's best to take your time at the beginning of the seam, because somebody was probably a very clever seamstress and backstitched a few times. Can't imagine who would be doing that. And so you want to get those out. But then, especially with a thicker, sturdier fabric like this, this is canvas. This is a canvas. You can take, you see this little red knob right there? You can put that between the two layers. Here, come on, look down. You can put that between the two layers, that little ball, like that, and then holding firmly to the opposite end, just kind of run it up along the seam. And you can take out a lot more of it a lot faster that way than doing one little stitch loop at a time. That is really tedious and really aggravating, and I know there are a lot of people out there that do not have the patience for that. So, see how quick and easy that was? And I didn't damage the fabric. I didn't tear it. Now, this trick only works with sturdier fabric like canvas or duct or some upholstery fabrics or leather. Don't try it with chiffon. Don't try it with costume satin. Lord, don't try it with costume satin. Okay. And now I'm getting towards the upper end. Here's the armscye. See, that's the armscye seam. So we are at the top of this side seam. So I'm turning it back over to the long, sharp side and just taking it a few little stitches at a time. And it's best to do that on this end because this is where it's been backstitched a lot. This is where it gets complicated. So it's best to take it one stitch at a time, nice and slow. Okay, now that's completely, totally open. Yay! So now what we want to do is remember which one was the front. Oh, I love nice big tables where I have lots of room to throw these humongous jackets around. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, this piece, it's hard to tell from your angle. This piece is the back. This piece is the front. The back, this side seam is going to stay the same for the back, and we're going to do a little bit of finagling, and we're going to pull the front further over, and this will show better from the other side. Okay. Maybe. Okay, you see how much overlap I have there? This is the back panel. This is the front panel. And yes, I am going to let them overlap that much because I want to take a lot out of that front. We need to make sure that this side is lined up properly because this fit. Up under the armscye here, that part fit. And that's an important part to make sure that it fits because that will be the part that you suddenly hulk out of it or you can't move in it or weird stuff happens when that part doesn't fit. Okay. That's stabilized. That's good. Now we just have to very carefully manipulate everything around on this table. There we go. And remember, this right here is the back. Oops. This right here is the back. That's the line we'll be saving. This right here is the front. So all of that's going to go away. Yes, this is a little bit of jiggery. It's not necessarily the most beautiful thing on the inside. Once it's done and finished and turned, obviously that'll all disappear and you won't know what's going on. But it's going to look amazing. Now then, I suppose I should tell you a little bit more. About this actual project. If you've been following on the Crow Redemption Facebook page, perhaps you know a little bit about what's going on. We have begun filming on the Crow Redemption, which is a wonderful original fan film that's been written and is being directed by Dennis Walls, our wonderful Captain Who. And this is a brainchild of his he's been working on for, oh goodness, a long time. And we made the concept trailer for it a while back, and then we've been continuing to develop the idea and develop the script and do all sorts of work on it. We have finally started filming it, and it has been wonderful. It has been absolutely fabulous. And the costumes for it, of course, are deceptively simple, I guess. It's of course, modern setting, so the costumes are all modern clothing, apart from Skull Cowboy, who comes from a completely different time zone. But, oh, that's the end of it. Okay, reached the end of my seam. So now I've got to turn it over to the other seam. Turn the whole thing over and do that whole little bit again. I have to move my pins, otherwise they're going to be all over the floor. And I have done that before, and that's not fun. Now, as I was saying, these costumes are all modern setting costumes. So jeans and t-shirts and three-piece suits and normal streetwear, the kind of stuff you would be accustomed to seeing just anywhere. But some of them, even within that, are very particular and characterized. So it's a lot of fun. It's been really great developing those and discussing those ideas, and some of the director's ideas, Mr. Walls, are just so much fun. Oh my goodness. There we go, ripping the next one. Taking my time. And an interesting problem with this particular character, Skull Cowboy, is adapting him from the comics, because this, of course, is all based heavily on the Crow comics. Not just the movies that have come out, but the original comic book series they're all based on. And Skull Cowboy is, of course, an important character in that. And we really want to get that character right, because he's, well, very important to our wonderful director, but just a really awesome character anyway. And the hard part is he's a skeleton. That's how he's depicted, as a skeleton wearing clothes. And that's a hard thing to depict without it looking goofy. You know, I mean, you could easily wind up looking a bit like Skeletor, who, grant you, looks amazing, but it takes it out of the realm of that really iconic Crow look. So it's been a fun line to try and walk and keep everything within the right character while still being true to the comic. I love it. It's so much fun. I hope you're keeping track of us on YouTube and some of the great zombie projects that the guys have been working on. It's been so great. Love it. Those are hilarious. If you haven't seen them, you should go check them out. Okay. We've got that seam undone. And now I've got to pin it down the same way we did the last one. And then I need to lay this so that I can... It really works easiest if you have whichever one is going to stick out further on the bottom, so that you can compare the two. And then, of course, once we have this done, we should be filming some of these scenes coming up in the next month or so. And I don't know if there are plans to put any little behind-the-scenes clips or teaser clips or anything like that up on our Facebook page, but I do suggest checking it out just in case, because there will probably be some really fun stuff on there once we get this done. Because, you know, when we're working on filming, it's not all serious. There's a lot of fun in games. There we go. You see? Got that all pinned and ready to go. And I will get that pulled out and sewed. Well, that is all I am going to do for today. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi, and I hope you keep up with this and come back and see me again sometime.